And greetings, everyone. Welcome to this playoff match for the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational. We have in the blue corner ProBUs and in the red corner Durotan's Couch. And as far as map bands, which I haven't put up there yet, my apologies. Let me get that going on my super high-tech. But before we get there, I'm really neglecting my duties. We have a top secret. Guest caster, and I think this is probably the best way to introduce them. So give me just a moment here. Have something special. It just seemed the only way to introduce such casting royalty. Tonight's co-caster is going to be Arrow, the caster
Hello.
extraordinaire. How the heck are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well. How are you doing tonight, Rafa?
Oh, not bad, not bad. I
But
think it's Thursday. I'm not sure it's Thursday because I can't really tell anymore. But that's what the calendar says. So Thursday night, it's time for some hot playoff action.
no doubt, it's really exciting to have to check your computer calendar or your phone or your watch or whatever to remember what day it is. I just remembered it was Thursday today because my neighbors have their garbage.
Well, there you go. So at least you have some landmarks. Yeah,
Right.
I haven't left the house and I'm kind of a homebody anyway, so I'll do that anyway. But I it's one thing when it's my choice to stay home for the weekend. It's another thing when it's people telling me to do it. But luckily, we have this wonderful game to play and wonderful teams. So tonight we have ProBUs versus Durotan's Couch, and I believe this is the first round of the playoffs. I'm actually not that familiar with the tournament structure, and I do apologize for that. Oh, and teams are ready to go. First game is actually Battlefield of Eternity. The bands we got rid of Altrak, Dragonshire, Lost Cavern, and Sky Temple, but the teams are anxious, so let's go in there and get into the draft.
And this is really exciting because the Nexus Anomalies just changed the state of the game, and you've got now forts and towers and keeps that reduce armor with their attacks, but you also have the core mechanics that are absolutely bonkers. And this is one map where that core mechanic can be devastating because it puts out these massive zones that, if I remember correctly, stun you. And it's every so often at probably 5 or 6 seconds or so.
Yeah,
It's rough.
I believe this map is the same as Infernal Shrines, and they do throw out. They look like the Frozen Punisher, and they will stun you in places. So I think you're all right about that. Yeah, I haven't played on all the maps since the season roll this week, so I played on this one. We played on Sky Temple with the tornadoes. That was insane. Um, and I think if you're playing in Storm League, uh, don't count on your teammates to have read the patch notes. So I think if you're in a 5 stack and you know about these things, you might have an advantage, even bigger than usual, over the guys who are in the 1 and 2 stack. The weekend warriors that haven't read the patch notes. So take advantage of it while you can. So one thing we'll not be taking advantage tonight is Zul. He got banned in the first round, no surprise there. Johanna and ETC, kind of the two jack of all trades tanks, get banned. So none of those are surprising. Gray Main is a big burner. So any of these bans surprise you at all, Arrow?
No, not at all. I mean, especially the Johanna, she's a really strong tank, but she also is a blind, and so many of the heroes that get value on Battlefield of Eternity are your auto attack heroes, like your Zul'jin, your Vala, your Greymane, Raynor, and so having that blind is really helpful. Even Artanis. What I am kind of surprised, and I'm interested to see if we see this, is Tassadar was not banned, and so often you see you see reworked heroes being banned out for weeks after they come out.
Yeah, I believe I was reading today that his win rate is like in the 45 to 50% range. So he's not definitely not like Zarya was on release or anything crazy like that. But then again, if you haven't played against him, you don't know what the counters are, and you don't know what these spell abilities look like. If you have someone that does know the hero, I think that win rate you just throw in the garbage and say, "I know how to play this, and you guys don't know how to play against it." But He's not taken. He might be in someone's back pocket though. So we do see Raynor and Ming. We've got a lot of burn for ProBUs, but then we've got Vala, probably the top burner. Raynor might have taken that crown a little bit, but Vala's always good at it. Rhaegar's good at it too. I'm a little interested to see what the Ming build looks like. Does she go, or does she go Calamity, or does she go with like a burn build? I like to play Magic Missiles and Seeker and Cannoneer and all of those talents on this map, and just if you let me stand by the Immortal, it's going to go down. You have a favorite build for Ming on this map?
It really all depends on the enemy team. If you're going into really mobile heroes like Avala, then generally speaking, I won't necessarily look at the Seeker type of build just because it's so hard to land those, unless you have something like ETC or a really good CC chain like with Mal'Ganis and Malfurion combination. Even Diablo would have been a good one for that. So I expect we'll see probably so far either or build or Calamity build, because Raynor does bring a lot of race with Inspire and with his not Executioner. Is it Executioner? Exterminator.
Exterminator, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think if Raynor brings the pain, then Ming bringing it is maybe just a win harder situation. They can already win it without her, so she can go Calamity or Orbs and just terrorize the rest of the team. And it's hard for the red team to win the Immortal when they are dead. So you can always look at it that way too. So we've got Sonya being taken and Tyrael, I assume, with Sonya on the board. That's a main tank Tyrael, so not something I'm used to seeing a lot, so we'll have to see how that goes. I'm sure Sir Noble knows what he's doing though. And we have Yrel and Anduin. So is this going to be the Yrel that I see in my Storm League games, or is this going to be the Yrel that terrorized me a couple weeks ago and went 1v3 the entire game and killed everyone? It was scary.
It will be one of those.
There is no mid range Yrel. She's either the Ferrari or the Chevette, but there's no nice sedan in there.
I feel like so far from what we're, I was just gonna say, with what we're seeing, both teams have a very aggressive front line. So I was expecting to see a light bomb onto Yrel with her Avenging Wrath, or onto Blaze with a jet propulsion, and we see some people flipping around there. The Sonya, Tyrael, and now Maiev is gonna be pretty rough. You've got Warden's Cage, you've got Tethers, you've got Sonya, who potentially could go Leap, and if we get to 20, maybe even Crater. That's a lot of auto attack damage. I'm not going to be surprised if we see a Bloodlust here.
I'm a big fan of Bloodlust. I wouldn't mind seeing it either. But yeah, that Maiev, I mean, Sonya spinning around inside that cage. If you're stuck with her, that's nightmare fuel. That's not good if you're on the other team.
I expect that we'll see new habits out of Blaze as well, especially with having the Sonya, the Maiev, the potentially the Rain of Vengeance from Vala as well.
Alright, so let's get into it. Let's introduce, I'll get the blue team. So we have on Ming, we have John Bunyan. On Raynor, we have Sage. On that Blaze, we have 8-Bit. On Yrel, we have Tuna Breath. And on Anduin, we have Irby. You want to introduce the red team for us?
You got it. Over here on the right for Durotan's couch, we've got Sulna on the Rhaegar, Sir Noble playing the Tyrael, Sailor Twift on the Maiev, Captain Wedge there on the Vala, and Sonya going to be played by Gohan.
All right, so I assume everyone's going to go bottom, which is the traditional lane where everyone goes to. I'm sure there are reasons for that, but I have not been able to fathom what they are. It's just the way that we do things. And
it's actually not going to be new habits, surprisingly. Blaze instead going into Neural Stim Pack for that faster recharge of cooldown. So we'll see how that plays into this. New habits would have been really fantastic because the Unstoppable would help to negate that Warden's Cage.
Ming went with Ether Walker, so she could be going Calamity, but she could also just be looking for the extra damage on her Q. So can't read a whole lot into that. Let's check out the solo lane up here. Yrel and Sonya, both two heroes that can really bully in the solo lane. I don't know. If I were a betting man, I'm not sure who I put my money on up there. I think I might just be dead even for a while until someone rotates in. We have Valor rotating up there. Is Urel going to be in trouble? No, she's being fairly safe. So let's head back bottom where I think there's a little bit more action going on. As the heroes just wander around aimlessly. Thanks, guys. Make me look bad there.
Well, as you said that there, Captain Wedge coming up with the Vala there to try to engage there onto Tuna Breath. But ultimately, she's back. She's close enough to that wall to push him away.
Yep. And the walls are your friends right now with the new structure changes. We played a game earlier this week, and Wraithling went in. The Leaping Strike with Lunara got in tower range. Didn't realize it would have survived a week ago, but he got smoked. He was a little bit salty about it.
So up here in the top, we see Captain Wedge trying to take this top camp. And it's going to be real close. He is going to be able to make it out with about 400 health there. But it was close. It was tight. That Monster Hunter, just barely enough.
So we have red camp in the top, blue camp in the bottom. Blue camp has already been cleared up. The red one, I assume, will be cleared up fairly quickly. I don't think you're else going to have any problems with that. Sonya's low enough. I don't think she's really going to be able to bully Urel around there. So she does dumping kind of aggressively and gets targeted by that tower. You gotta respect them. I do like the beam that shows you who they're targeting now. That's really helpful, so you at least know that you're about to die.
Yeah, right. It's also kind of neat that it changes in intensity depending on if it's targeting a player or an NPC.
So we have ProBUs about to finish their camp. Vala is done with hers. And do we have a little cheekiness going on here? No, they're just checking it out. They're not actually going to invade.
Yeah, I think they might have if it hadn't been picked up. But XP pretty close here. We've got Blaze now facing off against Sonya, as it looks like we're getting a somewhat partial defense, at least for the moment. Sonya heading now back down, and a full-on race coming out of the team from Durotan's couch here.
Yep. And so far, Durotan Scout's getting the better of that. It's close, but with the easy burn position here that we always get for the first one, I think it's probably theirs to lose.
Yeah, I think they do have a slightly better race pre-level 7 with the Li Ming value, and it looks like that's going to actually translate there. It also helped that they had a little bit of a distraction in that camp that ProBUs went to deal with.
Yep. So not a lot of shield on it, so it won't have the ranged attack for very long, but still something they'll have to deal with. And in the top lane, meanwhile, Urel and Sonya both back at it there, so no one's going to lose any soak up top.
Now Vala coming up to try to engage here, misses the Hungering Arrow, so Toon Breath is going to be able to get out. But that's going to limit the amount of pressure they can put in the bot lane, because again, those towers do increase the damage that players take, so not the Immortal itself. But if you attack a defending player, you're going to start taking additional damage. But the towers are all they're going to get out of that push.
Yep. So the wall up there, top, I think we have the tower on the wall on the left and right. They're both okay. Urel's got two people to deal with, but looks like she's going to be okay. Ooh, wow, Wedge, you got to be careful, man.
Yeah, and that was just 2 tower attacks there, bringing Wedge down to about 35-40%.
Yeah, down to 35 or 40% with an additional, what is it? Is it 5 armor per shot, I think, or 10 I think.
Yeah, for towers it's 5, and for forts and keeps it's 10.
Nasty.
So that's pretty rough.
You have the bottom camp taken by ProBUs. It's going to be cleaned up in a heartbeat, though. So they are on top of that, and ProBUs going for the top camp, but Durotan Scout says, you know what, that's fine, you can have the camp leap like this fort, please. And it's 4v1. The one is Urel, so she's really good at defending these things, so they do show her a little bit of respect there. But I had to think with those minions coming up, if they play this right, that fort's going to die.
Yeah, as long as they don't hit Urel, then they're not going to take the brunt of the fort damage. It'll go on to the minions. But I think that was a pretty big misplay from ProBUs there.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, they left that wide open, and leaving a fort entirely open without a single defender is, I think, probably the worst thing you can do in this current environment. it only takes one person to allow the fort to gain a pretty significant advantage in defense, and they just didn't swap the solo lane down quickly.
Yep. So let's go look at the talents. Ming went, okay, so she went Calamity, so we've identified her build.
Yeah, so she's not going to have that additional race, because of course the teleport damage doesn't affect the Immortal.
Yep.
So they've got that entirely in the hands of Raynor. And I don't think Raynor's going to be able to keep up with the rest of the team. Yeah, so they've got to come in and defend this.
Yeah, ProBUs will be coming in trying to use those blue circles to their advantage. Blaze, a nice big body there in that choke point, keeping him out, but I think they're going to be able to poke it out. Oh, Val is really low, and she gets caught out. That is first blood, I believe, by Anduin of all people. I think Blaze gets a healthy assist there, even though he does get the takedown. And ProBUs mounting a nice defense, but they're still not able to get that race. And once again, it comes up with not a lot of shields, so you know, not the end of the world. As far as heroics, both teams are almost 10, so we're not going to have any big advantage from one team. So that Immortal's kind of making the difference here.
Yeah, that was ultimately that was Vala using her repeating arrow, throwing her hungering arrow in, and then using Vault to refresh. But she vaulted into a Leeming Orb, which put her down to about a third health. And then, of course, 8-bit with that jet propulsion setting it up. Here comes the Judgment onto Raynor. Raynor falling very low into the Warden's cage, and there's the bunker to help to negate that. So no deaths out of this fight just at the moment, but they do get the fort.
I think that Hyperion was a get out Hyperion, not an engage. He just wanted them to respect and had to get out. Sonya's spinning to win and takes Anduin down, though. 8-bit and that Blaze is really, really low. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it out. He does not make it out. Oh, Sonya getting chunked down by the tower, but her work is already done, so she's able to get out. So we do have both forts down for ProBUs. And Durotan scouts realize that they're up a little bit. They're going to go and take that camp. While they're doing that, let's go look at the heroics here. Mink went Wave of Force. That's kind of interesting. I see Disintegrate more than Wave of Force. I'm a fan of Wave of Force, so I'm glad to see it. Nothing else. Do any of these talent picks surprise you? I think this is pretty much what I expected out of everyone.
The Ancestral was the one thing that I thought was a little bit surprising. Like, I don't disagree with it in any way. I just, based on the team comp that they had, I kind of expected they were going full into the, push into their face. But also, we've got Bunker, we've got Wave of Force to help negate that a little bit, Ardent Defender. So a lot of defensive tools. I'm not sure that Bloodlust necessarily would have been able to succeed. And the one thing that they do have that I think is a little surprising is the Salvation coming out of Anduin.
Oh, yeah, he did go Salvation.
Yeah, because you've got a few different ways that can be interrupted. You've got the Vengeance, you've got Sonya's Spear, Judgment from Tyrael, although I think that would be a silly use of it. I'm not sure if Holy Ground interrupts it, because that's just a movement. And then you've got Maiev, of course. So lots of ways that you can potentially interrupt that.
Did Durotan's couch get caught being a little too deep here? We'll have to see if they get away with it. So far they are. Ming goes down. Sailor Swift really, really low, but there's the Ancestral World talking about. Got some value right there. Blaze is low. Blaze goes down. Sonya's low, but she doesn't care. She's going for more. She takes Uriel down. So much for Uriel being immortal. The rumor is not true. And that's a key. We have a catapult and a camp working on it, so I don't think there's any way this keep stays alive. And the objective is up, but Durotan's couch does not care. They've got 13. So discretion
I think
is part of valor, so they're going back.
Yeah, they definitely go back here because with the rest of ProBUs coming up, the reality of it is that core defense is easier than ever. And if you're on a map like Battlefield of Eternity, you're going to kind of need the objective to help you win the game. Even if you get a couple of kills, having 3 players on the enemy team up for defense is probably enough. It only takes 1 stun, and the stun circles on this particular map are massive. There's almost nowhere to stand, especially if you have a large hitbox.
Yeah. I think the positioning here really plays into Durotan's couch's favor because they got the Immortal on their side there, as opposed to top or bottom.
Well, there's the bunker. So the only ultimate we've got is the Judgment. Vala, however, going to get stunned, and a second kill in this return to the hot seat for ProBUs.
Yep. So they have 4 burning. However, I think they're going to, with having no one back for defense, they're going to easily. Durotan Scout's is going to sneak in, just do the last little bit of damage they need to there. And that's an Immortal, and we've got a healthy shield here. It's going to go on the bottom lane, because it always goes to the strong lane. And Tyrael, I just need to get out of there. I was wondering what he was doing. Oh,
Sonya left the game.
Pause of the game. Killed so bad he was removed from the game. Let's go look at damage
Yikes.
while we're waiting here. So we do see the Maiev at the top, Li Ming up there too. No surprise. Yeah, this is. I'm surprised to see Raynor down there below Yrel, but other than that, this is pretty close to what I'd expect for the for them. Rhaegar is out healing Anduin just a little bit, but not tremendously. We've only had 8 deaths so far, in 11.5 minutes of game time, so it hasn't been a game where there's been a lot of big team fights. You know, we've had a couple picks here and there, mostly just playing the map, getting the macro right.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too is specifically the ultimates that we see, right? There's a lot of defensive ultimates from ProBUs. There's a lot of very aggressive ultimates coming out from Durotan's couch. But ultimately, you know, only having 5 kills almost 11 and a half minutes into this game is really a testament to the fact that they're effectively using those defensive cooldowns and pushing back on Durotan's couch. It also means they're identifying their easier kill targets, right? They've killed Vala twice, I want to say.
Yes.
Let me see if I can put up.
Yeah, so Vala's gone down twice, and Sonya's gone down once, surprisingly. And
yeah, and I think that ultimately those are the 2 targets that you really need to have as your priority, right? Vala has very low health and is often using that vault for the additional Hungering Arrow, sitting at 11 stacks currently. Sonya's a little bit harder to kill, especially when she's got the Wrath of the Berserker up. But she's also a really strong target to kill it, to focus on if you can get her down. If you can interrupt her whirlwind, she can stop healing, then you can just take her out.
So while we're waiting here, I'm looking at the map, and I see one keep up for ProBUs, 2 forts down, 1 keep down, and I see a lot of buildings up for Durotan's couch. We still have most of the wall top. We still have all of the wall bought. So if you're ProBUs, what's the playbook here? What do you do to dig out of this hole? Because I think they're in kind of a hole right now.
They are a little bit, yeah. I mean, the main thing that they got to be looking at here is what do they get out of their 13 for Li Ming? What kind of value are they gonna see of that? It's probably gonna be Illusionist. What do they get out of 16? Are they gonna take Mirror Ball for the extra magic missile damage? Most likely. Or does Li Ming squishy that diamond skin? But ultimately, you know, at this point, they're slowly losing every structural advantage they have. And you don't want to find yourself on your core, right? You don't want to try to win the game by being able to defend at your core, because eventually you'll just lose if that's the case. So they're going to have to find exactly what Durotan's couch did early. They're going to have to find those moments where they can push in on a fort without their opponents there to do anything about it. They're going to have to pick up those camps and use those to manipulate the rest of the map. Can they head to the top lane while maybe they've got a bot lane push going from the siege camp? Those are the things they got to do.
I'll be interested to see if they're able to even up that talent advantage, because they're a full level behind. You've got to, although with the lanes being pushed out, it might actually be a little bit easier for them to soak, because the minions will be easier for them to find. But I mean, yeah, I'd hate to see them going into, so they're down 14-13. You know, in a moment that's going to be 16-15. Then you've got the talent advantage on top of the fact they've scaled up. But it's not the scaling so much as the other team has an additional talent that you don't have. So this is really rough. However, ProBUs does come back and win this. It'll be a great moment in Twitch viewing history. So that's why we're here. At least so I've been told.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not surprised at all to see Swift Retribution there from Tyrael, his level 7 talent, granting the additional attack speed. You've got a team full of heavy auto attackers, so that's a really valuable talent for them. Sonya going into that whirlwind even has the cancel of slows and roots, so that's going to help her with the Anduin, chastise, and potentially the slows from Blaze with the oil spill. I think that's actually maybe, I guess, Rain as well. So I mean, Durotan's couch is in a great position. Now let's also talk a little bit about the relative experience of these teams. Right, both of these teams have been around for time. They've played in other events. In the Nexus Gaming series, ProBUs has typically been higher Division D, and Durotan's couch has kind of been all over the Division B. They see most recently they were Division C and kind of in the, I think, middle bottom range. I want to say that this past season they were somewhere between 6 and 8 of in Division C East, and I think ProBUs was number 1 or 2.
Yeah, ProBUs was a force to be reckoned with. I know, looking at the playoff brackets going in, that was one of the teams I'm like, well, if we keep winning, we're gonna have to face them eventually. So right now, ProBUs, however, is facing the Immortal and 5 angry members of Durotan's couch. The gate is down, the extra turret is down. Rainer throws out the Hyperion, so they'll have to... Actually, they don't really care about the Hyperion. They're just going to stand in it. They're 2 levels ahead. Oh, now we have the cage.
And we see 8-Bit there kind of doing what I said he could have done with New Habits, but instead just doing it with his body. The Rain of Vengeance is going to come out, and there is the core defense. Look at how massive those are. If you're Blaze, you can't not be hit by that if you're anywhere in there. Captain Wedge falling very low is going to be the first one to fall in this. Sonya also might.
Yeah, but, oh, Sonya, spin to win, spin to win. Nope, she does get away.
Blaze trying to get in there with the jet propulsion, but not able to make it. The core will be brought to 70%. Now, there still are a few catapults here that are going to be taken care of by Sage. And Durotan's couch heading into the bot, going to grab that bottom siege camp. Keep that going. And just like you mentioned it during the pause, we've got level 15 to 16 right here.
Yep.
I'm surprised to see Durotan's couch heading up to the top. 16 is such a huge advantage that with the bruiser camp there and with the pressure in the lanes, I wouldn't have minded seeing them be very aggressive. The worst case scenario is they wipe and they lose a fort. Like, they can't lose the game at that point. They have everything up. But they could certainly win it.
Yep. I think you are correct there. I would like to see a little more aggression there. Basically just, okay, where are the blue guys on the map? Let's go find them. Let's go find them. But they've decided they're going to paint the map red instead. They do have a camp for ProBUs working in the bottom, but shh, be very, very quiet. We're hunting here. Deciding to set up a little bush party. Looks like Sonya's kind of trying to bait them out. No one's going to show up at the party, so they decide they're going to engage here. Here's the aggression we're talking about. There's the cage.
Go ahead.
I think that, did Sonya just get the Ancestral there? That was nice. A lot of low health bars, but...
Nice salvation there, but again, Maiev just pulling it away. And level 16s were picked up here for ProBUs. It is going to be Diamond Skin for Li Ming, as Urel's going to be the first to fall here. And they're trying to run into the range of the towers. The only towers they have left in the middle of the wall here. Nice jet propulsion coming in from 8-Bit there, slowing down the team. And of note, he does have the flame suppressors there, so reducing the spell power of the enemy team. And they're all getting so very low, but so is 8-Bit. And Sonya getting away with 30 health? Are you kidding me?
How is Sonya alive? Is that Sonya or is that Houdini? Because I can't tell the difference right now. Oh, however, Tyrael takes one for the team. He's going to chunk down Anduin, get the cooldown reduction there, I think. I think that's how that works. So we do have a 4v3 for Durotan's couch, and they're just going to go back and burn the Immortal. So they've got that advantage. They can just play the map. They don't have to be aggressive. ProBUs has got to make something happen now. Durotan's coach doesn't.
Yeah, DC's going to head over, grab the Shaman camp here. That is going to give Probius enough time to get the rest of their team up, though. So they still have to deal with the pressure in the lanes. Durotan's Couch can be patient. Blaze is on his way, Li Ming's on his way.
So at this point for Durotan's Couch, do you get aggressive now, or do you just slow play and wait for 20? It's almost here.
I don't even think you wait for 20. You just play patient and let the minions kill the core. That was an amazingly timed bunker to interrupt the... or dodge the... anyways, Material's ultimate, whatever it's called. But as we see there, the catapults are mounting in the bot lane, so all of this fight is really just against ProBUs. There's not a lot they can do about it. They pretty much can only do one thing, which is send back Urel to protect the core and defend at the Immortal.
And they're going to have to defend a 100% shielded Immortal, so this is not going to be for the faint of heart. If you're squeamish, you might want to look away from your screen here for a few minutes. So ProBUs has got their work cut out for them. They've got to clear the lanes even before the Immortal gets there. They've got a couple Katas in the top to clear. Rainer's going to clear the bottom. So here
well,
we go.
And this is it. This is where things have to change. You have to change your behavior here, both as offense and defense. Defense, you need to play near the core, and you need to focus your damage on the Immortal. Take advantage of the stuns and big damage on your enemy team. Offense, you have to kind of play defensive here because of these massive zones.
Those circles are just enormous.
There's the judgment onto Anduin, catching him out by himself, but nobody to follow up. The Immortal, though, check it out. Gonna take this down, and the Immortal only lost half of its shield.
Yeah, I think when that Immortal was taken, I think DC might have just been able to take hands off keyboard to win the game at that point. That's a really tough defense, just to burn that Immortal down at time. So let's head to our match summary. So we have 5 kills for ProBUs, 8 for DC. So not a real bloodthirsty game. Vala is our top damage. Sonya, I think if I have an award for having the most balls this game, it's going to go to Sonya because she was down below 100 health a couple times. I'm like, she's gonna go down, right? But nope, it just never happened. So she did a really good job of playing that edge, and Solon had a couple of really nice ancestrals. So who's your MVP of game 1?
I think my MVP is probably actually going to be Rhaegar. Yeah, with those ancestrals and setting up a lot of those plays were set up by other players like Maiev or Sonya, doing what they needed to be aggressive. But it's all about timing on that ancestral, knowing when to hit it, and also, not for nothing, hitting the right target. When you've got as aggressive of a team as you have here, with Tyrael judgmenting in and Sonya, spearing in and Maiev diving in, hitting the right target cannot be easy in all cases. So,
yep,
Solon really the MVP there, I think.
Okay, so we need to get out of this game, and let's go head back, and I am going to do one of my favorite things and give a team a point. So Durotan's Couch gets first point, and Captain Wedge is bringing us to Tomb of the Spider Queen. I'm not sure who picked the map. Let me find out there. And while we wait, I asked some people to throw me some facts about the two teams, and we had that entire pause, and I forgot to get into it. So as soon as we get this underway, maybe we'll jump into those. I'll tell you the first one. Captain Wedge thought that putting Captain in his battle tag would help his team to respect him more. It didn't. They still host a mutiny at least once per season. So that's our first fact of the game.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
It is.
Maybe he needs to change from Captain Wedge to like Admiral Wedge.
Yeah. However, it says there have been at least 6 attempted coups against Captain Wedge. All have failed because no one wants to take over the secretarial duties that come with being a captain. So I definitely
yes.
feel his pain there.
Absolutely. What have you got about ProBUs?
About ProBUs. Do you know as many facts about ProBUs? I guess they're not as popular. Sorry to hear it, kids. Let's see. About my facts. So 8-bit has not changed his loofah in 2 years. I'm not sure who's doing that kind of investigative journalism, but I do appreciate it. I just don't.
Wow.
That's a little spooky to be honest. Let teams know they can go.
This seems like an unfortunate time to have an old, dirty loofah too.
Yeah, you think you want to maybe throw that out.
Look at the background. The Tomb of the Spider Queen background looks different. It's got kind of a Dark Nexus vibe to it.
Oh, it does. I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
That is odd.
So one of the things that I kind of was thinking about with these changes is that overall you have some maps that you're not going to see much change to, right? You're going to see basically no change to Towers of Doom. Almost.
Hmm.
Basically just the tower changes, right? No core mechanic change. And then you're going to have some maps that are significant, right? Like Battlefield of Trinity, very difficult for players to be on the core for a significant time. So if you're finding that you are playing against a team that perhaps you're not as skilled as, whether it's
Hmm.
macro, micro, whatever, then it probably behooves you to play a map where you can have that stronger core defense. Because if you're going to find yourself on the defensive anyways, then make use of the new mechanics, right? Because as long as you can stay relatively even with them, a strong core defense, wiping them, means that you can potentially late game walk to their core and win the game. If you are the stronger team, then you might want to be looking at those maps where things are less changed. Things like your Sky Temple, your Towers of Doom, where you can win the game by just demolishing your opponents. And then you don't have to worry about these new core mechanics and the random nature of what they bring to your core pushes.
So speaking of new core mechanics, they also they snuck in a new map into the rotation. Garden of Terror came into the rotation this week in Storm League, and I don't believe that was called out in any patch notes. We fired up a game on Tuesday and we're like, "Hey, we're on Garden of Terror." I was very confused. Do you know? Did they pull a map out of the rotation or did they just add it? I haven't seen the full list. I keep meaning to check and I haven't yet.
Yeah, when I looked, there were 12 maps on the rotation. So I believe that means that they have almost all of them in, other
Okay.
than Warhead, Haunted Mines, and Blackhearts. I think all the others are in.
Okay, as long as Blackheart's Bay doesn't come back in the rotation, I can deal with Warhead Junction every now and then. I love Zagara, so I'm nidusing all over the place. But I don't know why. I just don't like Blackheart. I didn't mind it until we started getting the other maps. I'm like, oh, I like these maps a lot better. And we play quick match, and I go to that map like, oh man, this is gonna be 20 minutes that I'm gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so teams are ready. Let's get into the draft, shall we?
So Tomb of the Spider Queen, I expect we'll see some very similar bands. Maybe the Greymane, maybe not, but I think all the other bands are really solid here. Your Johanna, your Zool, your ETC are all pretty significant bands for a map like this with the heavy rotations. And there's the first one right there.
Yeah, Johanna, especially on this map where you can use her as a coin bank. If she plays safely, she gets 60 coins, or pardon me, spider butts, whatever they're called, and you're not able to kill her. So I would not be surprised to see her taken out. So ProBUs picked first, so that means this was the map was picked by DC. So I didn't know that earlier, but I'm smart. I was able to figure that out. Look at my big brain right there. And Zool,
Well done.
poor Zool, he just doesn't get to play anymore.
He's a really strong hero. You can certainly, I don't want to say counter him. You can certainly play against him. Heroes like Johanna really do reduce his effectiveness, but you can also play around that, change your build so that the blinds are less impactful. You kind of become more of a ranged mage instead of just a melee bruiser in a way.
So as we mentioned before, Johanna, not surprising to see her gone. So we don't have to worry about burn so much here as we do about wave clear. So Who do you prioritize on this map that you might not have prioritized? I've got Jaina, probably the first one on my list.
Yeah, and I don't know if she gets first picked. Well, apparently Kael'thas is the first pick. I think, one of the things that I would potentially like to see out of ProBUs is a little bit more offensive play. So what I mean by that is a Garrosh or a Mal'Ganis. Somebody that can set up the plays offensively, get a pick, get a big CC chain. The Jaina would be great with a Mal'Ganis, Malfurion with a Mal'Ganis, something that allows you to get that big burst of damage that maybe your opponents can't deal with.
So
we'll see if any of that comes to pass.
Yeah, speaking of big bursts of damage, we have Tassadar come out. So I have actually not played. I didn't get a chance to play with him in the PTR, and I've played one game with him, and that was a quick match, and we had dual Tassadars, one red, one blue, and neither one of them had ever played the hero before. That's just my assumption from the way the game went. So I do not know what to expect. I know he gets Force Wall all the time now, but that's about it. So.
Yeah, and you know what? I was going to mention that we might see Tassadar here. Obviously not in game one, but here the hallways are pretty narrow, and Force Wall is a high value ability. It was high. I enjoyed it when he was still a support. Now that he's more of an assassin, I think he's going to bring a lot to the table here. And then when you couple that with Leoric, I wouldn't be surprised to see other heroes that take advantage of walls. Like, say, maybe an Oriole, potentially, for that knockback. Trying to think of what else they could potentially run with that.
So we need to come up with a name for that. If you've got, like, Jaina or Orphea with Leoric, that's the dirty bathtub. But what do you call it if Leoric throws down the tomb and Tassadar walls it off? Is that, I don't know, the rectangle of death? Chat, I need you to help me out. I need someone to come up with a good catchy name for that for me to use in all my casts this season. So go, make it happen. Do something useful where you start watching the game.
I mean, it seems like it should be some kind of coffin.
Ooh, that's good. See, that's why we have you here. So we see Ragnaros and Hanzo. So a lot of wave clear from the Kael'thas, and Ragnaros is no slouch either. Actually, Hanzo isn't. So I think they have enough wave clear there, but then on the other side, those guys aren't bad at it either. I think I'd give the advantage maybe a little bit to ProBUs here. And then they go and throw Nazebo out there, so I don't know. I think this coin flip for me. I'm not sure whose draft I like better. Do you have one that you favor?
I was trying to decide. It's a little interesting. They don't quite have the engage setup that I was looking for, but they could still get it, right? They've got and by they I mean ProBUs in this case. They've got the Diablo who can charge into a wall, Deckard who can throw out the root. So if they're good on communication, they can make that work. They've got the Kael'thas gravity lapse. So I mean, they could potentially obliterate almost anybody on the other team if they can get to them. That said, if Durotan's couch gets to 20, they win.
Yep.
Nazebo,
we'll have to keep a close eye on Nazebo stacks. And
between Nazebo and the Buried Alive, like, anybody that gets in there gets a force wall, and then they just die. I mean, Ravenous Spirit, oh my god. I want to see Nazebo take Thing of the Deep, and I want to see Ravenous Spirit, and I want it to be just an absolute bloodbath inside.
This is a family cast. I don't know if we want to see that. So let me introduce our combatants here. For ProBUs, we've got John Bunyan on Kael'thas, Irby on Deckard, 8-Bit on the Lord of Terra Diablo, Tunabref on Ragnaros, and Sage on Hanzo. And you want to introduce the right team for us there, sir?
Yeah, for sure. So on the right, we've got Durotan's couch. It's going to be Captain Wedge playing Blaze. We got Tassadar being played by Sir Noble. Rhaegar going to be run by Sulm. Leoric going to be run by Gohan. And Nazebo played by Sailor Twift. And we've already screwed up my plans by going into the Toad build. So I'm going to be checking out. And thank you, ProBUs. You win this game.
Arrow has left the building, everyone. There was the first cheeky force wall of probably many that we're going to see.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think Diablo charged into the force wall, like stunning Blaze. It looked like Blaze got stunned by Diablo, but I couldn't quite... I wasn't paying enough attention to know.
So does force wall count as a wall for his... I mean, does he get the outline? He can actually use it to stun people?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I did that.
And so does Zombie Wall.
Oh,
Zombie Wall counts for that as well. So, I mean, they've got a whole bunch of ways that they can block people off on the side of Durotan's couch.
Let's go down and look at the bottom lane. And Ragnaros and Leoric. I think Leoric probably wins that matchup, but I think that Ragnaros can at least be competitive. He's not going to get blown out of the lane, so probably not a whole lot of action down there unless someone rotates down. In the meantime, we just see teams rotating top mid, top mid. White's getting going for the first turn in. That eagle's pulled off. Oh, the zombie wall. 8-bit's in trouble. But then Nazebo's on fire. He's also in trouble.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for Durotan's couch, dealing with the fact that when they want to be aggressive, Kael'thas is going to be spreading living bombs.
You get a bomb, you get a bomb, everybody gets a bomb.
Root coming out, gravity lapse onto Blaze, but not quite able to get it, and Diablo going to get caught within the zombie wall here.
Yeah, that's twice. See if Nazebo can keep that up. And
So 8 stacks so far on Toads, 34 toward Vial Infection.
that's not too bad for the first 2.5 games. Oh, Diablo really, really low. And the force wall, I think that might have not helped, but Hanzo at least evens the score. A lot of gems on the ground. So we do have DC up by 10 gems. Nobody's been able to turn one in yet. Let's check out the bottom lane here. Nothing going on down there,
So we do see a little bit of a, I'm going to call it a deviation from the most recent set of Rag builds, which is that Ragnaros going into that Sulfuros Hunger, the Q ability there. And I think the reason why is because you've got a Lyric, you've got a Blaze, and you have a Rhaegar. So a lot of people that are going to be in melee range for that cooldown reduction, Diablo using Shadow Charge to just get out of dodge there. And he can use the Shadow Charge to get out of zombie walls, get out of any of the task walls. But generally speaking, he's not going to be able to get out in a good position, right? Because he's oftentimes going to have to go into the team.
and there's our third Diablo trapped in zombie wall. He's going to have nightmares of Nazebo, and those nightmares might start right now. I don't know if he's going to get out of here. He's looking to get out and does not make it. Tassadar does take him down. Kael'thas throwing out a lot of damage, but unable to take anyone down on the other team. So we have a turn in for DC. They still got a lot, and they only have 13 in, but they do have enough on the board. ProBUs will have enough very shortly, so we'll see who gets it first.
Good stall coming out from ProBUs so far between the Ragnaros and Kael'thas using the fire abilities. You might say that by fire, be purged.
You might if you were an enormous raid boss, you would say that. So we do have turn in available for both, and DC gets the first turn in. Some people say we don't want the first turn in, we want the second one, but I think those are just people who aren't good enough to collect the gems and get them turned in. Anytime I hear that in one of my games, it's being said by someone who just couldn't help us turn in. So that's my editorial take on that. Take it for what you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly, if you have the ability to get any kind of value, any kind of pressure, then, you know, having the first turn in enables you to potentially snowball. So it is certainly of value. I think that we're going to see limited value here because the first turn in, I mean, it's under 5 minutes, right? These web weavers don't have a ton of health. We're going to see a dead Ragnaros, though. Yikes.
Yep. I thought he was going to take Nazebo with him, but he wasn't able to. That's crazy sauce. Oh, we are going to see the dead Nazebo. I think.
So
what is
Tassadar died. Ragnaros lives. Nazebo dies to the wall, and now Rhaegar falls. But the fort goes down, so Worth know.
Yeah, with the short rest timers now, I do probably say worth, but there's a big probably question mark into that. I don't honestly know.
Yeah, it depends on if ProBUs can get a turn in here and how much value they can now get. They do have the top lane is pushed really far against them, so they're going to need to clear that quickly. They do now see that Leoric's in the bot lane, so that bot lane is going to get cleared probably pretty easily.
Yep. He's going to be able to get the camp, then they're going to be able to... Well, I say that. He's swinging that mop as fast as he can. He does have friends coming. Diablo's coming in with a big charge, though, to push him off the point, and we do have a 3v2 right now. It's about to be a 4v3, though. And he's unstoppable, so he does get out, but the camp goes over to ProBUs. Well played, Diablo. Nice charge.
And level 10s are picked up for ProBUs, and what I was going to say is the timing of turning in is imperative, right? Being able to turn in when you have your level 10s is so much value, especially with somebody like Ragnaros, right? Getting that lava wave, having the molten core available is just so much additional value in this push. We do see there Ragnaros was pushing up in the top lane while the rest of the team was in the bot lane, getting what they could down here. But still, pretty decent value for a first web weaver, just not as much as Durotan's couch was.
So they still have a little bit of a push going here mid. The web weaver's going to go down. Bucket's going to go down to keep everyone safe. Tassadar, what did Tassadar do? Peek a black hole? Ah, good. I get to see this for the first time. It'll
Black hole is an
as much
interesting.
as it does the rest of the blue team.
Yeah, Black hole's an interesting ultimate. Let's see. Does Rag have? Yeah. Okay. So molten core is available for Rag, just in case Durotan's couch gets a turn in or gets it in their head to try to push here.
That force wall is confusing me because it's blue, and I expect it to be red because it's by the red team. So I apologize.
That is one of the minor complaints that I have about Tassadar is like if it's an enemy ability, it shouldn't be blue. Not that it matters. Neither team can go through it.
Yep.
It could be fuchsia for anybody's interest.
So that camp being cleared up fairly quickly. No one has enough to turn in, but everyone's really, really close. DC has a lot more in the bank right now. They do have enough to turn in, so they need to get all 8 of theirs turned in, if I'm doing the math right. Diablo just doesn't care. He charges into a pile of 4 there. Oh, don't look, but I think, yeah, Kel'Thas is going to go down, but then Tassadar goes down. Phoenix getting a little bit of value. They've got to back out, and Azebo goes down. He did finish the Toad quest, but it wasn't in time to save him. And we do have
Oh, the lava wave! Oh, son! Oh my god, he lives!
Fire is bad, guys. Ouch. That hurts.
You know what? As a raid leader, I just benched Sulm. And I think it was Captain Wedge, or maybe it was Gohan. But yeah, like, if you're gonna run through the lava, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to get out of the fire if you ever.
Yeah, someone who raided for years. If you come in and throw down a circle on the floor of my desk, I will jump out of my chair. It's just, I cannot not do it. It's ingrained now. Okay, so ProBUs does get a turn in, and we've got 13s for everyone. What's Kel'Thas looking like? So we've got Phoenix, Pyromaniac, Burn Flesh, so he's looking for big Qs to hit multiple people. Tassadar.
And I can see that with the heavily melee composition that we have coming from DC.
Yep, it should be easy to find 2 of them. The Zebo's at 107, so that's not too bad for this point in the game. He's on pace to be a beast when 20 gets here.
So we do have the teams kind of gathering together. Ragnaros versus Leoric in the bot. But it looks like ProBUs kind of a little bit indecisive on where they want to be. So they are going to head up into the top lane, see what they can get out of this top fort. Now this should be able to go down fairly easily, but they don't have Molten Core. He's not here yet. Now he's here.
I don't
So
know
we'll see if they actually fight
do
this.
it, though.
There it is.
Yep, he's going for it. Swipe, swipe, swipe.
The stay a while was great, but it ended up getting interrupted by the damage here. So Nazebo's actually going to make it out.
Yeah,
And that was rough. They had the guaranteed kill onto Nazebo, and then they had the fantastic CC combo onto 3, but they weren't able to get any of them.
But Leoric, I don't think he's going to make it out. He's unstoppable, but doesn't matter. Hanzo was able to take him down as soon as he pops out of the race swap. Yeah, I had my eye on Nazebo. I was ready to move the camera down there and watch the chase, and it didn't happen.
Blaze getting out of there just barely thanks to that force wall.
So Nazebo down here, he's on the other side of the map, and I see a lot of blue nameplates down here. He did mount up, so I don't know if he's going to get out of here. Oh, nice charge.
Oh, but missed the overpower, and they didn't continue on for the kill. So yeah, Nazebo's going to get out.
I think Kel'Thas was he was set up for that overpower. That's what that Q was all about, and it was in the right spot. Just wasn't able to pull it off. So good setup, but not the payoff they wanted. They will get the bottom camp out of it though. Nazebo had to run scared and hang out with his buddies. And
yeah, but Rag completely surrounded by the red health bars there. And we're gonna see DC heading up to the boss, and I like this play. They have pretty much all of the advantage in the world, right? They have tons of body block material. They've got the bunker for one area. They got force wall. They got zombie wall. They got, well, they don't have Entomb right now. They have a lot of ways to block people away from this point.
Here comes ProBUs. Diablo throws the APOC, gets Ode. Gets a lot of people sleeping there. Someone's got to charge back while the boss isn't even dead yet. Nazebo. Leoric goes down. Wedge is in big trouble there. Blaze goes down. That magic triangle getting some work done. Nazebo, is he going to go down? Yeah, he is. And no, Nazebo did not go down. I completely missed that call. Sorry about that. But that's a boss for ProBUs. I did not think they were going to pull that off. They did know that it was happening, though, because the boss still shows even after you've turned in.
Oh, Hanzo going to get that kill onto Nazebo.
You nasty Shimada brother, you.
They do still have the Web Weavers coming against them, but that is a fantastic play from ProBUs. Allowing them to not only clear the Web Weavers, but they're going to get free push value, and this is the best time to push. Nobody's alive. Towers can't get that additional bonus against you because they're going to be attacking the boss.
So the extra ability on this core is it sends out a death wave, correct? But I don't think there's any CC component. It's just damage, right? I may have that wrong, though.
No, that's absolutely correct. And of all of the core mechanics I've seen, this is probably the easiest one to just completely avoid. It's a little bit wider than the Web Weaver's wave, but it has a graphic, a very large graphic. It looks like a, I don't know, like a hash brown patty, and it kind of warms up in the color, right? It starts off a little bit faded, and then it gets larger or brighter and brighter, and then it does the wave. So this is not this is one of the map mechanics where I think that it's easier to assault a core than some of the other ones.
So he's able to walk away with the Wraith Walk, and he does get out. Nazebo, he's at 126. Would you like to see him stacked up a little bit higher than that at this point in the game, or is it pretty much on pace for where he needs to be?
I mean, on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, Nazebo should be done off, because those top two lanes are very close together, and they have the ability to rotate very quickly between them. So I would 100% say that Zebo's a little bit behind. Also, Sailor Twift saying, you know what, Arrow, we're not doing any of the things you want. We also didn't get the Ravenous Spirit, so we're not going to get the Ravenous Spirit Dream. So it's unfortunate.
So did Leoric take... Yeah, he took Ominous Wraithwalk, so that's why you see him making those nice S-curves, just trying to reduce the other team's damage for a few seconds. Looks like he's not getting a lot of value, but he's knocking the other team down for some time, so he is getting a lot of sneaky value out of it.
I think one of the things that ProBUs needs to do is, if they're going to get those stay a while value, they need to make sure that they're setting up the play, not countering it, right? So far, every stay a while that they've had, I think with the exception of the boss, they've almost immediately just interrupted. So maybe we get Respect the Elderly at 20 for Deckard Cain, which would be a huge boon to them since they haven't been able to keep those. Well, Leoric just dies here.
Yep, no Wraithwalk available, and leaving some gems on the ground too. So we have a turn in for ProBUs. We do not have one for DC. We also have 20 about to show up, so and they're going to get the turn in. I think they have enough down there if my caster math is correct, and it is. So this is the map still favoring DC a little bit, but that is about to change. Bottom is going to go down, I think, before the spider even gets there with that camp. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. There goes the lava wave into the top lane to make sure that that web weaver can go. It's a little bit late though. The web weaver's going to have to travel pretty far. But ProBUs setting up for a backwards gank here. There's the stay a while. The zombie wall onto Rhaegar, and they're going to just take out Rhaegar almost immediately. Wedge using Pyromania, but Diablo shoving him into the wall, and that is a great start to this push here for ProBUs.
Yep, you got to be thinking about the wall and probably the keep at this point. You got to respect the wall, but it's not going to be there for much longer. So where's the Zebo at? We do have 20. He's at a 167, so he's close.
Yeah, Nazebo will have it by the time they get to 20, or almost immediately after. So, Vial Infection is going to be a threat, and there it is. Leoric now should have Buried Alive, I assume. Hasn't taken it yet.
Still thinking about it.
So, and there it is. So, I think now this game becomes a lot more difficult for ProBUs to win. So, getting that fort down in every lane, really valuable. They're up here at the boss. The timer just ended. And Durotan's couch doesn't seem to be mindful of this.
Yeah, ProBUs was here. They said grip it, rip it as soon as it comes up, boys and girls. So I think they're going to get it. Red team's too far away, so that's going to be a boss. And the top lane's open, so DC probably going to have to get back and defend, and they can't even get a turn in to stall it. So they're just going to have to just play goalie back here.
So Rag has Molten Cores, so they've got that bonus. They've got an additional Lava Wave available. They've got Stay a While. They've got Endless Potions, so even if Deckard dies, they can still heal. There's the fort coming in. Gets interrupted, and the Entomb as well. The silence coming out from Deckard, though, is going to stall that. The APOC as well. Diablo getting the charge onto Leoric. But now they're pulling back. The boss is on the core, though.
I think they're going to lose the shield on the core. Maybe not a whole lot more. We've got people standing in the fire. Don't look, Arrow. Don't look. Nope, they all avoided it. Well played.
Well, there's that wave there. Diablo taking the bulk of it. Is standing in it again. Is going to take a second round. The core at 40%. It's looking really good.
Wow, I'm really surprised that core is going to be a 0, and I did not think that was going to happen.
4%? I mean, is it? Okay. Rag just barely getting in there at the last moment with that meteor.
Wow, I saw the first couple members of ProBUs go down, and I thought, oh no, they're going to flip the map over. But then they just, I guess their calculus was better than mine. They knew it was going to go down. So let's go take a look at our match summary. So Tassadar leads in damage, 11 takedowns. I wonder if we see him banned next game, or they play around him somewhat. But you know what? He's on the losing team, so maybe you don't care. We've got Hanzo as the high damage for ProBUs. ProBUs 18 to 11 in kills. But I wasn't impressed by the kills though. Was that last core rush? They just knew what they needed to do, follow the boss, and then took care of business. So well played, guys. Well played.
So Rackham, I want to point out that last fight because it was even closer than I thought it was. Diablo died because, of course, Diablo stood in every wave that came out from the core.
That's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought he was alive, but he had actually died and returned thanks to souls. It was the last meteor where Rag died, and that meteor was just off the core. So if the meteor was even slightly off on the positioning, if they got one less auto attack, if there was one less piece of damage coming out from ProBUs, they lose that game, I think. Because now they're all dead except for Diablo. Durotan's couch goes through top lane, they win.
Yep. I think
it was close.
I think I agree with your assessment. I think that's the way it goes. All right, so let's head back over, and by the power invested in me by casters everywhere, I will give ProBUs a point. So we are now tied up at 1v1. and not sure where we're going for the next one, so we'll have to wait for the teams are probably tallying themselves off after that. So we'll have to wait and see where they're going. So, chat, I know you're delayed, but still, tell me where do you want to see the teams go, and what are your predictions for the third game? And Arrow, I'll turn that question on you. Where do you want to see us go for the next game?
I would like. Let me take a look at what we've got on. So, because I didn't write down what.
Oh, yeah, Dragonshire,
I
Lost
see it.
Cavern, Sky Temple, and Altrock are gone. Oh, yeah, it's on the screen. Duh.
Yeah, it's showing now. So I think, you know, it depends. So Durotan's couch gets to choose. Who picked the first game?
The first ProBUs won the coin flip, and they went first pick. So uh, DC took the first.
Okay.
They picked the first map.
So it was first pick for Probius both games, which they wanted. So Durotan's couch, we don't know whether or not they like the uh, the maps where they have priority. So if I'm Durotan's couch, I feel like overall they played the team fights better in game number one. I felt like game number two was kind of balanced and it worked against them. They kind of lost their footing on that initial boss call, and then they just never really got it back. So I think that if you're Durotan's couch, the place you go is Towers of. There are fewer variables there. There's no core variables you have to worry about. It's a map where if you can win those team fights, then you as long as it's at the right time, you win the objectives very easily.
Yep, I'm not going to disagree with you there. And let's see
I appreciate
where they want to go. We are going to Volskaya Foundry.
Now, whose selection was that?
I do not know. Let me ask the teams.
Okay.
I bet one of them knows. Oops, I didn't want to do that. This is my first time ever using a mouse. My apologies there. I'll invite you to the game instead. Actually, I do have a little bone to pick. This mouse is it's registering single clicks and double clicks, about 1 out of 100 clicks, and it's driving me crazy. And I sent Unimodel Logitech, and they want me to send them a video of me clicking the mouse to prove it's really broken. So I fired off a nice little message to them last night. They're going to replace the mouse. I was very eloquent. I learned from my dad. He's a master of writing cranky letters. So anyway, that's just a little window into the mind of Rackham there. Nobody needs to hear that. So Probius picked the map. So
so that doesn't surprise me. This is an objective heavy map, just like the Dragonshire, which was banned out by Probius, and it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. They had a combination in the last game that worked well. They didn't fully execute it in every case, but they did have some really good circumstances, right? With the Deckard sleep, followed up by the APOC, and then take it from there. So they could do something like that again on Volskaya. The Diablo's maybe not as valuable here. It's harder for him to get those stuns on these control points in a lot of cases. But they could still make use of other tanks. Again, a Mal'Ganis, ETC if it's let through. Even to a certain degree, the Blaze. So we could see some of those heroes setting up the play and allowing them to win these fights. Kael'thas, I think, was also instrumental. Kael'thas is one of those where you don't often see Kael'thas, making the big highlight reel unless the enemy team is just utter trash and spreads, the coronavirus to all of their friends. But it can cause a lot of disruption, especially on a map like this.
So, one hero that we haven't seen mentioned in bans or taken is Deathwing, and I wonder if we could see him on this map. I personally detest playing against him on this map, and I'm not sure why. It's mostly the points. I just had some bad experiences with him just dropping into a point and killing 3 or 4 members of my team. But I don't know if either one of the teams plays him. So I don't know if we'll see him. He probably won't be involved, but that's just the guy. That's my X factor right there. We'll see if we see him in the game.
Sure.
so we're still waiting the teams to get ready. And well, we got what the casters wanted, what the Twitch viewing audience wanted. We got a third game, and the playoffs. Not more you can ask for. I'm assuming this is the best of three. Maybe I should have asked that before we started. So I guess we'll just see. We'll just see how long the teams want to play. I got nowhere to be. I got to be at work tomorrow. So as long as we wrap it up by about 9 a.m. Central, I'm good to go. Like, I got some Gatorade. I'm ready for it.
Nice. I'm trying to see where the playoff setup is. I'm sure it's somewhere in here. It's probably under information.
Yeah, my first two casts, I kept telling people the wrong thing about what week it was and how many weeks were to the playoffs. So I just stopped talking about it because I was wrong all the time.
Gotcha. Okay, here we go. So the playoffs. So basically, what they did was the 6 teams made it to the playoffs. The top 2 were the top 2 seeds, so they made it to the semifinals round automatically. That was I Must Feed and Wood League. So I think it was yesterday, a day or two ago. Church of Murky succeeded over Lubu, so they're going to be playing against I Must Feed. ProBUs and Durotan's Couch are playing for the opportunity to play against. So there you go.
There you go. So while we're waiting, let's get into some more facts here. So Big Egg Roll, they're not playing in this game, but on Durotan's Couch, Big Egg Roll brings the best snacks, but has yet to bring anything larger than an average-sized roll, despite his insisting that it's big. I think there's some subtext to that. We're going to gloss over it, and we're just going to walk right on by that. I'm going to take the high road there. Supposedly, Sailor Twift had never heard of Taylor Swift until everyone in game asked if he liked her music. I find that one slightly hard to believe, but that's what we have been told. And we're ready to get into the draft here. Teams are good to go. Oh, and
so we go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so we talked a little bit about the relative experience and positioning of these teams in Nexus Gaming Series, but just taking a look here at where they were in the Zul'jin Distillery. So ProBUs was number 3, Durotan's Couch number 6. So kind of a reversal in their positions in NGS. That said, divisions the top of Division D, the bottom of Division C, very close in overall skill level. So not a big surprise to me to see that. Now, who do you think, between these two teams, if you don't already know, who do you think won their first matchup of the season here in the round robin phase, and what do you think the score was?
Was it between these two teams?
Yeah, because they played everybody.
I'm going to say I may have captured that match. I don't remember, and if I don't, that would be embarrassing. I'm going to say it was a 2-0 for Durotan's Couch.
It was actually a 2-1 in favor of ProBUs.
Well, there you go. Wasn't a domination. I got the winner. At least I tried. So let's. You know what? I'm gonna give myself one of these for trying right there. There you go, Rack.
Hey, there you go.
Good job.
So we're seeing very different bans. The Zool going to be banned out. Kael'thas and Raynor, and there's the ETC. So interesting changes here.
Johanna's in play. I wonder if we see her first picked. Wouldn't surprise me. She's good on the.
Yeah, I think if you're Durotan's Couch, Johanna's a fantastic first pick. It gives away nothing. She's such a strong hero, especially on Volsky Foundry, where she just never has to leave the point. So we'll see if they agree with it. Big Egg Roll says, whoever said that, they mom's a hoe.
So, way to keep it classy, Big Egg Roll.
And Sir Noble coming out with Johanna?
No surprise. Is there any map where Johanna is not at least a viable first pick? I don't think there is.
No, I mean, Johanna's just so good all around. She's just such a really strong tank that she's going to be good anywhere. So it's just that she's kind of neutral on most maps and gets a bonus, a little bit of a leg up on some other maps.
So we've gone away from the Diablo here. We're going to go back to the Blaze that he played in the first game.
And that's all right. I mean, Blaze with the Greymane gonna be able to slow people. I'll be interested to see if we get Executioner out of Greymane. If they take other heroes, like maybe a Jaina or somebody that can help with that. But it's gonna be Gul'dan and Rhaegar on the side of Durotan's couch. Horrify could be a real big problem.
They've had Rhaegar all three games, right?
They have.
We'll see who they don't want to pair with that Rhaegar, Gul'dan, and Johanna.
I wouldn't be surprised based on what they have now, potentially to see a Lunara, just because of the amount of dot damage. But I think it's going to depend a lot on these next two picks from ProBUs. What kind of healer do they pick up? Do they pick up the Anduin? Do they pick up the Deckard? That's going to change a lot about what we see from Durotan's couch. And okay, we lost somebody.
Oh no, the game just went away. Darn it.
I'm screenshotting the draft information, so I've got it just in case.
Oh, yep, good idea. Thank you, sir. So it looks like who left? Yeah, I'm not sure who.
It was Gohan.
Yes. Hopefully they'll be able to get back and we can finish this game. So we talked about Suln on the Rhaegar. Suln is the elder member of Durotan's couch, and as such is the only one that remembers when he had to walk uphill both ways to school. I am also a little bit in the elderly category, at least for the Haas community, and I too remember walking uphill both ways, and you forgot that it was in the snow. That's an important thing to remember. So check your facts, people, get it right. Suln is also a former professional ballerina. I don't think that's true, but I've been surprised before, so I'm going to mark that down as false until told otherwise.
Fake news.
Oh, yep, fake news. And
sorry,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so when I was in high school, I lived in Seattle, and Seattle is a very hilly city. And so technically speaking, I did actually walk uphill both ways to and from school. But we didn't have to deal with snow very much. It was never really hot. Back when I was in school, it wasn't, you didn't have all the wildfires and stuff just lighting the entire Pacific Northwest on fire. But it was, it rained a lot.
So growing up in Seattle, what's the opinion there of Portland? Is Portland the little brother that you just feel bad about, or are you guys angry at Portland all the time? I don't know what that relationship is like. I've never lived. I've never even been out there in the Pacific Northwest, so close.
No, it's not like that at all. Portland's kind of like in a way, it's kind of like the little brother of Seattle, right? It's almost like Philadelphia is to New York. It's because they're about the same distance, or at least the same travel time, if not distance. It's about a 3-hour drive between Seattle and Portland. So, your communities are fairly similar. They're very environmental friendly, a little bit more liberal leaning in a political stance, and they're at this point now they're high cost areas, but they're pretty big cities. I mean, Portland has I want to say their greater metro area is about 1.5 million, and Seattle is a few million, I think.
Yep. All I know about Portland, I've learned from watching about 3 seasons of Portlandia. So that's my entire some knowledge, and all I know about Seattle is watching a couple of documentaries about Nirvana. And spoilers, Courtney Love did it. That's all I'm going to say. Go watch it. Watch a documentary.
What? I thought you were going to say all I know about Seattle is what I saw on Frasier.
Oh, I did watch a little bit of Frasier, so there you go. I do. Maybe I'm a Seattle expert after all.
See, there you go.
So I was one last fact for Durotan's couch. Sir Noble has never actually achieved knighthood. He legally changed his name to Sir so he could fit in with the rest of the members of the couch. So that's our last fact for Durotan's couch today. Although I was asked by one of the members of the team to say, never forget, all 4 waifu blew a 2-game lead. I have no idea what that means, but they said they would be very happy to hear someone say that on stream. So give the people what they want. There you go.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that means either. But what I do have is, as long as we're talking about various facts, I've got one for you from ProBUs.
Shoot.
ProBUs 2 seasons ago in Nexus Gaming Series, I believe it was season 7, were the number 6 seed playoff, and they made their way all the way to the Coastal Finals. They were down 0-2, ended up having a last ditch play on a boss on Towers of Doom. Secret Asian Man coming in with the Kel'Thuzad, massive combo, wiped the team, gets the boss, wins the game. They go on to win the best of 5 series 3-2. They go on to the grand finals, have another similar circumstance. But if I remember correctly, they actually did not succeed.
That grand finals was, if I'm not mistaken, against Clouded Minds. It was 2 seasons ago, you say?
I think you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because if a certain team named Bloodbath and Beyond had pulled its head out of its butt in our series, we might have been facing ProBUs. But as it is, we lost the best of 5, 3-0, and it's probably never. This is the last time we'll ever speak of that again. It was not a shining moment in our history. But I was looking at the other division like, oh well, ProBUs who we're to face next, and I think I might have looked past Clouded Minds a little bit. So Weenus, the boys and girls over there, I apologize for not taking you guys more seriously. So I tip my hat and I salute you. Well played.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be getting Gohan back here soon.
If not, I don't know if they have a sub standing by. I'm probably not allowed to jump in and sub, or I would, which would ensure a ProBUs victory, and we don't want that. I could give them my own particular brand of ineptness there.
I'm just checking the sound real quick. I was told that I was a little bit. Oh my god, I am. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, you should probably turn me down a bit.
Alrighty, you're assuming I know how to do that. I can do that. How about I just turn us both down? I'm probably too loud too then. That's why I'm whispering.
No, you're not. I'm quite a bit louder than you.
You can turn yourself down on your side too, right?
Kind of.
In a Discord call, I actually don't know how to turn you down. All these newfangled things. I just see us both there. Oh, you know what?
Just right click on my image.
Oh, there you go. You mean like that? Just like my IQ was normal? There, I dropped you a little bit. Hopefully it's better. So Wedge says that their last member is starting HOTS now. So I apologize if you guys got too much arrow today, but I don't think that's possible, so. There. Now you should be right back at it.
So let's take a look here. So in the playoffs, let me go back and see who the next games might be. So Wood League versus ProBUs and Durotan's Couch. Let's see. How did they fare?
Hey, we have a Gohan sighting.
Woohoo! So Wood League defeated ProBUs 2-1, and Wood League defeated Durotan's Couch 2-0. So at least according to the standings, probably ProBUs has a little bit better chance of defeating Wood League. But Durotan's Couch played really well in Game 1, and with all the changes to the maps and the towers and all that stuff, things are shaking up a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me to see Durotan's Couch pull this off.
Yep. After the games we've seen, and ProBUs played really well that second game. DC played really well the first game. So don't color me surprised no matter who wins this game.
All right, so
I assume we're just going to replay the bands that we had before. So
yeah, so this should be Rainer next, and then ETC.
And Johanna, Greymane, and then let's assume the teams. Remember, I know you have the screenshot, so.
Yeah, you have it pulled up as well, or did
No,
you just go from memory?
No, I'm assuming the teams know what the heck they're doing. That's my.
One would hope. Yeah. All right. So far, we're hitting it. We've got them all good. Alrighty then. Now, what I would have liked to have seen from Johanna is I would have liked to seen the orc version of Johanna.
Oh,
because now they have triple orcs.
I disagree. I do not like the orc skin. I that's the one Johanna skin I really dislike. I usually go with the event where they came out with her and Greymane. They were like these futuristic cops. That skin with the police vehicle with the blue and red flashing lights that you got from the Overwatch crossover. That's my anti-standard Johanna skin that I will not deviate from because it's awesome.
And that is the one that they ended up using was the police Johanna.
Well, good. Then they're doing it right then.
Yep.
Maybe Arrow doesn't know everything after all. Take that, sir.
So we've got Mephisto and Stukov. Oh, the diva.
Speak her name and she appears. Okay, so we did get there. You got your 3 orcs. We just don't have the 4 orcs. That's my war chief right there, by the way. Sylvanas, not my war chief.
Yeah, Sylvanas can burn.
There we go. Deathwing is going to get to come out to play after all.
All right, so what do you think? What do you, who do you give the edge to on this one?
I'm going to give it to DC simply because Johanna is just she can be so good, and I think she's going to be a beast on the points. You're not going to be able to get her off of there, and she's going to anchor her team to greatness. That's what I say. But I've been wrong before. It's been known to happen.
They both have heroes that are going to be very difficult to pull off the point, and Deathwing and Johanna. Deathwing can't be healed by Stukov, so okay, whatever. Mephisto brings a lot of interesting value to this team comp. And what I'd like to see is I'd like to see Durance of Hate. I'd like to see that go with the Stukov Silence, and you get the easy bake oven coming out from Diablo. That's what I'd like to see from ProBUs.
So let's switch it up and introduce our red team, Durotan's Couch.
Alrighty. On the right for Durotan's Couch, looking to come back with their first victory, and their first victory over ProBUs tonight. We got Sir Noble playing the Johanna, Captain Wedge on the Thrall, Suln once again on the Rhaegar, Sailor Twift on the Diva, Diva the Destroyer no less, countering that Deathwing, and then Gul'dan going to be played by Gohan.
So, in the blue trunks for ProBUs, we have Sage on Greymane, 8-Bit back on the Blaze, John Bunyan on Mephisto, Ruby on Stukov, and Tuner Breath as Deathwing. So sprays going out, no one's really doing anything to engage, just feeling each other up. 10 heroes in her, looks like 10 heroes are going to leave though this time.
Well, Deathwing's up in the air, so... And speaking of Deathwing, coming down onto the minion wave there, and I expect we'll see Deathwing head to the bot lane there to deal with Thrall. Now, Thrall going into Echo of the Elements already has 5 stacks, amazingly, just from the first minion wave in the mid lane there.
Yeah, he's almost out there.
That's impressive. Captain Wedge, I tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah, he's going to have that, at this rate, well done in time for the first objective. So that extra chain, or that extra lightning will be nice. So we got Gul'dan stacking circles and Blaze collecting globes. So we have both teams on their turret camp at almost the same time. ProBUs going to get theirs a little bit sooner. And then the team's mixing up here in mid, but I don't think anyone's really going to commit to this. I think they're just gonna kill minions, get XP, wait for the objective. Just rotate top mid, top mid, top mid. See what that Deathwing fight looks like down there. Yeah, I don't think Wedge is going to be able to take him, but he's not going to lose the lane against him, so I think that's probably a wash until further notice.
Yeah, until Thrall gets that percent damage at 7 with the Ancestral Wrath. A little bit surprised to see that they didn't take Rolling Thunder with that percent damage. But definitely going to land in on Sailor Twift and Johanna, body blocking the Diva, using that Incinerator.
I thought she was going to go down, but they didn't chase her. Instead, they choose to just get the healing camp. Probably the better decision. That was a bad chase.
But Thrall is going to get some value in the bot lane here. Only 2 away from completing Echo of the Elements.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, and Korik's actually mentioning in chat the same thing that I just said, probably behind him if you were watching the stream. But, you know, the Rolling Thunder... a little bit surprising to see it because you got Blaze, you got Deathwing, and in that solo matchup against Deathwing, Rolling Thunder actually is pretty significant, right? Getting the percent damage, but also healing for an amount based on how much damage you do. So, really helpful for that solo lane matchup against Deathwing.
Speaking of Thrall, he has finished his Echo of the Elements quest. So we've got
not too bad.
Yep, got the camp pushing for DC on top, but ProBUs took their camp, and you kind of want to be the second team to take your camp here, so good on them. All their Breaker's going to, I think, be able to clean it up without much of an issue. So not a lot of value from either one of those camps, although as soon as I say that, the camp for DC is still up, but they're going to blow it up. So
Blaze is going to get the stun on the Diva, but is very low. Going to have to use Pyromania there just to make it out, get that 40 armor. Level 7s are up for ProBUs, just slightly ahead of Durotan's Couch.
Johanna took Subdue. I really love that talent. Even if you don't finish the quest, it's still valuable. But if you do finish the quest, the rest of the game is going to feel amazing with Johanna. You just got to make sure you don't get trapped into trying to finish too hard. Nice silence from Stukov there, and then Tunabrook drops in with the dragon right onto the circle.
Cataclysm is coming out, so that's going to light half of the area there on fire. Sailor Twift going to get caught by the Stukov silence, and it's actually Thrall who's going to be the first one to fall. I think that's actually technically blood, too. So I think we've just seen the Diva mech die twice, right?
Yes, I believe you are correct, sir. Yep. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the channel beginning here for ProBUs. So 94% completed for Durotan's Couch. They can be a little bit patient. They're a little bit behind in the XP, but they are coming in. There is still a turret down as well. But never mind. Sailor Twift once again getting caught. The big jet propulsion coming out with the fire breath from Deathwing. So Durotan's Couch kind of saying, you know what? Patience, we don't have any of that.
So at this point, I think it's probably going to be ProBUs to lose. I mean, they're at 95%. Yeah, no one's going to be able to get a foot on that in time. So we do have a big robot going over to ProBUs, and Greymane is going to get in, and Stukov is going to ride alongside him. So my guess is they're going to go for that wall top.
Blue team has taken control of a protector.
Yeah, and it's important to note that even though the Protector is considered a hero, the forts, the wall, the towers, they don't do they don't do armor penalty to the Protector or the Dragon.
Do the targeting rules still apply if there are minions there, but they touch a hero? Does it target them like it would a regular hero? I should probably figure that out before I play more story.
Not the Protector. The Protector is going to take the damage anyways, just like it would normally. But if, like, say Blaze threw out his fire onto a hero, yes, they'll still target Blaze.
Okay.
Is my understanding.
So they got what they're after. They got the pool top, and they're almost going to get the other tower. Not quite. Need a little pushback there. So ProBUs gonna have to back off, but they got what they came for, I think. And we do have Ults ready.
I just watched the replay, so even with the heroes doing damage to the enemy heroes, with the protector there, the tower still takes the shots. So as long as the protector's taking the damage first, it does the damage to them first.
And so we have the heal camp. ProBUs got the first one, and DC is going after this one. And Blaze is the only one that's anywhere near. They're going to get it. We do have four members of ProBUs up, but they're not going to take that fight. They were 4v5, so I don't think that. I think it was a wise idea. Scratching's the better part of Valor there. So while Stukov take the camp down there, he's going to get some help from his friends. Dan and Rhaegar are going to do the same thing over there. So they'll both have a turret available for the objective, which will be top, of course, being the second one.
Alright, I was told that our volumes are closer. I'm still slightly louder, but they're close enough.
Okay.
So, just FYI.
Alright.
Siege camp gonna get picked up here by Durotan's couch. So that'll be coming onto the map here. D.Va knocking everybody back. Does have the biotic emitter out. Oh, the blessed shield coming out. Greymane getting taken down. Dropping the turret as well, I believe. Yeah, so we've got now 3 turrets on the side of Durotan's couch.
Yeah, so if they play that right, they'll have a turret, and then another turret, and then another turret. Or they can hold on to them and have 3 turrets as they're approaching 100%. So we'll see how they play that. If I'd probably hold it in my back pocket until I had to use it. But with 3 of them, you don't have to be as careful with them. So we do have 5v3 up here.
And it'll probably be back up for the next objective as well, so they could potentially have 4. Thrall down in the mid lane trying to catch them up. They've got 13 on the XP now, so just slightly ahead of ProBUs thanks to that that XP soak in the off lane.
So we see Thrall with the Earthquake, and we do have the extra slow potentially on Johanna. They can set up some fights where it's really hard for people to walk away from it. I thought she was going to go down, but she does not. That defensive matrix, I think, kept her alive there. So we have 13s up for both teams now, except for Deathwing. Deathwing is still thinking about it. He marches to the beat of his own drum, though.
So we do have the Durance of Hate. Mephisto going into the auto attack. It's a splash, right? This attack hit enemies near. Yep. So that will reduce Mephisto's cooldowns. The heroic's not going to be reduced by that cooldown, but that's okay. I mean, the cooldown on his heroic Durance of Hate is already pretty short. D.Va Mech's going to be right there. Blessed Shield coming out and is going to take out Stukov. Blaze almost falling as well. Never mind. He does fall.
There he
thanks
goes.
to that.
Deathwing is also, he's down to below 50%, but D.Va, I think, so the mech is going to go down, but she takes Greymane. That's a really, really good trade. She is rooted there. Pardon me, that's Johanna that was rooted. And Mephisto goes down, and we suddenly find ourselves 5v1. It didn't really feel like it was that one-sided, but it kind of was. So 10% on the point. I think ProBUs probably has time to come back and make a fight of this. They might be facing 16 though. It might be best for them to not take too much of a fight here. We'll have to see how they play it.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we're going to see this fort still alive by the time ProBUs gets here. I thought that would have been taken out. It is going to fall either way. But D.Va's actually on the heal camp. I don't know if she survived. Okay. Right, because she used her mech bomb on the lane.
She's going to get a little help from her friends there to make sure she's able to grab that. So in turrets, we still have we still have 2 turrets and a heal camp, so they're at 93%. They can just walk onto that, drop the turrets in the heal camp, and say, "Suck it, this is our point," if they want to. And ProBUs, I think, knows that they're not gonna invest any resources in this. They're just gonna back off and play some defense.
Not only that, but they also have the 16 value, so Protector is getting picked up by Durotan's couch. So far, nobody deciding they want to get in. It took them a little bit to figure out who their best targets were. They're going to throw Johanna and Rhaegar in. That's going to leave all of the damage dealers on the table. Never mind. Johanna's coming out for the defense, and Thrall instead will go in.
Look at those sneaky protector games they're playing. That's probably not a bad idea to get Johanna up front to kind of tank some of the damage for you. She got the D. She can do that. And this, I think this keep is dead, right? Yeah.
Should be.
So are we, I mean, they do have 16, let's pop the talents up. Are they thinking core? You know, it looks like they're going to back up, and the Cataclysm is probably going to hasten that decision for them.
Yeah, I think it would be too early for them to try to go core. Their protector was at half health. And, you know, again, core mechanics, right? There's that new mechanic that's on Volskaya Foundry. It's the glove mechanic from the protector. So it just knocks people away. But speaking of knocking people away here, D.Va using that pilot dash to get out, or torpedo dash rather. Thrall gonna get a cleanse, so he's able to make it out in the biotic emitter used to keep the team healthy. So that was a pretty good chase from ProBUs, but they just weren't able to get the kill onto D.Va or anybody else there.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see 10 heroes up after that. I thought someone for DC was probably going to go down, but they just weren't able to quite chase it out there. So instead, Durotan's Couch is alive, and they'll be able to take their camp. So they will have 2 turrets, and I don't think we have any turrets available for anyone on ProBUs. No, we do not.
Also, I want to point out this is a 3 kills to 5 kills. We saw that in game 1. And we know how that ultimately turned out there. Jet Propulsion coming in. Can they get the kill this time? They get the mech. Sir Noble, they're able to walk away. Still has Blessed Shield, but there's the endurance of hate. Captain Wedge getting feared away. Thrall should go down there. Is going to fall, but is Sage going to make it out? It's so close. Is able to make it for the moment, but D.Va's catching up there. And Deathwing making use of that Elementium plating along with the Cataclysm. Going to be able to fly out and just ultimately just one more kill there.
I think we saw an Ancestral save Johanna's life there. I don't think she walks out without that Ancestral, so too bad has the Rhaegar there. Nice play. ProBUs is going to be able to get the heal camp. Oh, if you're Durotan's Couch, do you think about taking that other turret? You have all the others, you might as well complete the set.
They're not dishes, Rackham.
If three are good, 4 would be even better. 5 would be amazing. But well, they're gonna come down here.
Wrong.
Well, this could be.
Deathwing's top.
I think the D.Va bomb might get it for him. Yep, it does. Nice zone, D.Va. Well played. But that's a D.Va.
And the Stukov flailing swipe actually interrupted the Horrify from Gul'dan, so he's got that back. And for whatever reason, Horrify doesn't get the 10-second cooldown. It's instantly back, so...
So I think this fort might be in trouble. I think it's probably dead. We've got 5 members of DC down, chunking it down pretty well. So the map's starting to look a little dire for ProBUs here. That's 3 forts and a keep down. It's starting to remind me a little bit of Game 1, and we know how that ended. So they're not quite that dire situation yet. They do still have 2 out of 3 keeps up. But I think they're getting to the point where, you know, like game 1, you got to make a play at some point. Just not sure what that play is going to be.
That play right now for ProBUs needs to be that they've got to find a structure here. They've got to find a fight. They got to do something because level 20 is coming up soon here. You see Durotan's Catch now split using the Earth. Johanna pops Unstoppable and gets out there. So all of Durotan's Couch is going to use the disengage option. And so that's going to give a turret over to ProBUs. But they don't have level 20, and Durotan's Couch is just about to have that.
Speak of the devil. There's level 20. Johanna went blinded by the lights, Storm Shield, Earthen Shields. Wow, they're going to be really hard to kill if they pop all those ults at once. They're going to be like immortal for a couple of seconds. So we'll see if they stagger them or if they just use them in a big burst. I'm interested to see how that plays out actually. ProBUs almost 20 though. They're soaking like crazy.
They should have it in enough time to be able to make it into the bot lane there and
Yeah.
put up a fight. Now, I think that the way they almost have to do this, they almost have to, and I don't know, they almost have to send Deathwing in first to get the fear to split them off. But I don't know that you want to do that because you also want to make value out of the Durance of Hate. So maybe it's actually your Blaze. You pop your Pyromania for the Unstoppable and the armor and go in from there.
And we don't have Bunker here. He did go Combustion and Flash Fire, so do some damage.
There's the fear. Can they get this kill onto Diva?
Yeah.
Silence coming out.
Good night. Oh,
I think that's the first time.
I think you're right. That Flash Fire, they're getting a lot of value. Rhaegar Ancestral, but went off, but not in time. And that's going to be 5-3. I think this is probably going to be a robot for ProBUs. So we still got some time though, but I don't think at 5-3 DC is going to be able to come down and contest this. So I would expect them to go find some value elsewhere, maybe take the top camp. And lo and behold, I think that's where Thrall is going. They realize that fight's not theirs. So they're going to lose a fort from the robot, maybe a keep, but even if they lose a fort and a keep, they're still up. So better to stay alive.
Yeah, they're still in a pretty good position overall. But that was a great combination there from ProBUs. They get their level 20s, they get the fear, they get the, what's that talent called? Mimic or something like that? Yeah, Mimic from Mephisto, and getting that Lightning Nova damage. And that's a huge bonus. If you can land the double Nova stacking damage onto heroes, all of those shields in the world didn't matter.
Yeah,
they
true.
just wait them out.
Yeah, I talked it up about how immortal they were, and then two of them died. Way to make you look bad, guys. Come on. So the Protector is still very healthy. They are marching it backwards, though. They're throwing some damage out. Gul'dan hitting with some nice waves there.
Yeah, they've got the Deathwing back.
Diva's been really, really aggressive, and I like it. Just instead of playing back, she's out there thrusting around, really causing some havoc and making some nice plays with the bomb, too.
Yeah, this camp along with the catapults really forced Deathwing to have to go back and deal with it. And we see Deathwing has almost no health. And keep in mind, Deathwing doesn't heal in the Hall of Storms. Has to fly up in the air to actually heal, so...
Yeah, I'd expect to see him take off here sometime soon. And there he goes. He's gone. What's the minimum time he can stay up there? I don't remember. It's several seconds, though, right? I mean, he has to...
The minimum time... So it depends on the talents you take at 7. And whether or not you take Arrival of a God, which they did. So ultimately, the timer can be reduced by Skyfall by hitting heroes with that small circle by 1 second. Otherwise, it's 10 seconds. So probably about 3 seconds, 4 seconds is the absolute minimum.
Regardless.
All right, so this is scouted. Here comes, with the Arrival of a God, that's a huge bonus here. Flashfire being used and Horrify as well. Thrall's going to get the Ancestral, but Sage on the Greymane looking to fall very soon here? Probably, maybe not. 8-Bit getting low is going to be able to walk out, it looks like. So somehow, some way, both of these teams seem to be making it out, but 8-Bit's going to fall anyway. Thrall coming in onto the Stukov.
Some really, really low low red health bars, and of course as soon as I say that they go from low to 0, so...
Oh, but Mephisto falls, and now Deathwing looks like is going to be the next one. Greymane here, kind of in a bad spot.
Turn away, don't watch, kids. Oh, he's going to...
Greymane survives.
You know, Greymane's going to survive, but DC says, hey, we have 3, we can probably take the core. Greymane can't come back to defend you because he's just a whisker away from dying. So he got far enough away that he get Hearth, so he'll be at full health. Wow, he come in there.
Take a look at this core defense. The gloves are actually doing pretty decent work now. Thrall was able to heal up. Sailor Twift has her mech.
Oh, nice. Oh, Joe, that shield. I think Greymane's not going to be able to do it, and that's going to be the core. Wow. So the Rocket Fist got pushed Diva and one other member back, and it scared me for a second there. I thought that maybe Grayman was going to be able to do it, but in the end, just wasn't able to defend against three members of the opposing team. So let's go look and see. So we have 10 to 9 kills, very even. We have three members of ProBUs on top for damage, but unfortunately, they still don't win the game. I think, even though you see 4 deaths there, I think I might give my MVP here to Diva. I just was really impressed with the way she was throwing the mech out there, and she just flat out won him at least one turret. I think she got a kill on Stukov up at the gate, the top lane. He wasn't able to get away. So that's gonna be my MVP. Who's your MVP of the game?
I would probably agree. I think Diva was a very disruptive force in that game. You see that she's the top hero damage as well, which you don't really expect that when you've got a Gul'dan and a Thrall on the team there, although just slightly ahead of the Thrall. The ability to reduce the damage coming out from ProBUs likely ultimately won them several of those fights, I would guess. And so, yeah, I think I agree with the Diva, especially in that last fight, knocking people around. Chat Pinman saying Suln MVP, and for what it's worth, Suln was on their game all night. Those Ancestrals were fantastic and really did a great job of keeping the team alive through that. So
Yeah, there was at least one ancestral every game where I noticed like, wow, that was a really nice play, and that either kept someone from dying or allowed them to stay in a fight a little more securely. So, yep, I'm uh, not overlooking the Rhaegar. He played really well. So let's
yeah,
hit
but they got
that.
MVP game one.
Yep. Yeah, you can't give him two.
Yeah.
That would just make him cheeky. So let's go
Well,
back.
do we want to do an interview maybe in
Yep.
the XGD
So
chat channels?
if you want to pop down there, I'm gonna round up someone from DC, and I'll meet you down there in just a moment.
Cool.
Not sure who we're gonna get. So give me just a second. Hope you guys in chat there enjoy the game and all the hot action. Wait, that sounded weird when I say it that way. And I'm back. Still trying to drum one of those guys up. Hey, speaking of Rhaegar, there's Sulm. Congratulations, some really nice ancestrals. Just some really good play overall. Well played tonight.
Great, thank you so much. Thanks for the cast. It was a lot of fun. Really good games. Yeah, that last one was a lot of fun, especially.
So I'll start off with my first question that I've stolen from another famous caster. What was your favorite play of the night from all three games?
I think there was an ancestral in the first game that I really liked. I think there was an ancestral in the second game I really liked, and then an ancestral in the third game that I really liked. No, to be honest, I think the the fight on the boss at the end of the second game was probably my favorite play overall. I think it was probably the right call. I was telling the team not to go there, but I think they were right. We just sort of didn't get the execution right. We could have won that second game, I think, if we had executed that boss call a little bit quicker. So that was definitely in the second one. First game, I don't know. I just think there was. I don't know. I think we played well overall. I can't remember a specific thing. I think in the third game, the defense of the mech, it just seemed we were so good at pushing the mech away from doing any damage to us that even though they got a late mech, it didn't seem to. We still were able to minimize the damage, and partially because Diva is really good. We got a sort of a pocket Diva that's really fun to play with.
So do you guys play that Diva a lot, or is that something you like to just bring out on special occasions? Because it was really effective that third game, but I don't see her a lot in competitive play.
We played a lot in like in Storm League or when we're scrimming or whatever. I don't know if you've played it too much in like whatever tournaments and leagues we play. But we certainly, if anytime we see a chance to play it, we play it.
Cool. So, Aaron, you have any questions for our MVP Soln here?
I do. So In the regular season, you guys faced off against ProBUs. At that time, the coin flip went the other way, and they were successful 2-1. So, what did you guys feel coming into this matchup? What did you do differently to make sure that this time it was a 2-1 in your?
I don't know. I think our drafts were better and more thought out. I think that I don't know. I think as the season wore on, we played better together. I don't even remember if I was playing that first game. I can't remember if I was, but I certainly have been playing more of my comfort heroes, and I've definitely been playing better on those instead of trying to pick an Ana. I don't do well in an Ana, and so if you see me taking an Ana, just chalk that up as a win for the other team.
Fair enough. And we got to see tonight. At least for me, this is the first time I've gotten to cast it. The new mechanics with the towers, with the core defense, and all that stuff. So, what are your overall impressions of that? Do you feel like any of those made a significant impact on any of the games?
Oh yeah, it's weird. The towers are strong now. Like if you can fight somebody under tower, it's pretty big. Like we were playing a match before this one started, and we just would wall somebody in next to a tower and attack them a couple of times, and they just get demolished. It's a lot harder to dive people under tower too, as we saw when we tried to dive a couple times. I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be a learning curve for a lot of people, but I like the mechanic overall.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I think there are a lot of people that are going to get caught unawares by that. Maybe not so much in competitive play. I mean, you guys obviously scrim and practice, and you're probably ready for this. But I think the general public out there, it's going to be a little bit weird for the next couple of weeks. And
we'll still manage to make some mistakes. Don't worry about that. We'll find a way.
Nice. But I think even in competitive play, I think it's going to change some things. So I'm not even sure how it's going to shake out. But I think you guys make some really good points that it's definitely going to shake things up a little bit. And I think that's good for the game.
Yeah.
I really like these anomalies. So before I let you get out of here, anyone you want to shout out? Anyone in particular?
Well, shout out you guys again. Thanks for the cast. I can't wait to listen back to it. Shout out my team, obviously. Even though he wasn't here, Big Egg Roll, I've heard there was a little bit of shade thrown towards Big Egg Roll. I want to give him a shout out and have his back because he always brings it. So that's all I'm going to say.
I was just reading the facts as I was given, not making any that is just what the people wanted me to say. So.
I'm not blaming you guys. That's for sure. I know who I'm blaming. It's not you.
Cool. Okay. Well then, congratulations. I'll let you go and celebrate with your team, and we will see you in the second round. And the second round of the playoffs will be next week, or will it be the week after that?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. One that neither one of us knows, so we'll just gloss over that. And whenever it happens, we'll look forward to it. I've got a shout out. I'm going to shout out my co-caster Arrow. I was super surprised that you were willing to ride along tonight, so thank you very much for making me nervous for the entire cast. But it did go better than I thought it was. I just assumed I was going to mess up something horribly, and I'm still standing. My PC has not caught fire. We didn't throw the stream to a black screen for 10 minutes or anything, so it didn't go as bad as I thought it would. But thank you for showing up, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna. Oh, Arrow, you have anyone you want to shout out?
No, nothing too crazy. Just want to say, great job both to ProBUs and Durotan's Couch. You guys played a great match tonight. A lot of opportunities that really could have gone either way. It was exciting to see, and good luck with the rest of the playoffs and the other events that you guys may be participating in here soon. And Rackham, it was fantastic casting with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to join you tonight.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone, and thanks to the Twitch audience out there. Hope you guys had fun. Maybe learned a little. Laughed, cried. You threw $10 goodbye. So thanks everyone. Get out of here. Everyone be safe out there, and have some good luck in your games. And we are out.